India's dog owners are wrestling with a dog problem. The centre recently banned ferocious dog breeds. They've banned the import, sale and breeding of 23 ferocious dog breeds, which it said are dangerous to human life. And I'm joined in the studio today evening by Boris and his dog parent Lalit and my colleague Deepak Bhadana. Lalit, welcome to the News9 Plus Show.
Thank you.
Boris, welcome. Boris is focused on the camera. I think he knows the right camera angle for himself. But Lalit, over to you first.
Yeah.
What dog parent, you have a Rottweiler there.
Yes.
Were you worried when you saw the notification from the central government banning dog breeds?
Obviously we are. He is not a dog for us. He is like a family member.
Absolutely.
He's
As
like
all
a son
dogs
to
are,
us.
Yes.
So we are worried, and I don't think it's fair to, categorize them like that.
Right.
You cannot ban dogs like that.
Yes. But I want to ask you, Lalit, Rottweilers, generally ferocious, they've got a bad rep after Stephen King's novel, I guess, Cujo. What made you decide on getting a Rottweiler as a pet?
It was instant love at first sight.
Right.
When we saw him as a kid,
Right.
a small puppy.
How old is he?
Right now he's around 8.5.
Right.
Yeah, but we have stopped counting his.
Yes.
Exactly, we don't know how old is he.
Right.
It's that fear of losing them.
Absolutely.
So
yeah.
we have
So,
stopped counting.
so Boris is not a fad. He was there in your family. He's been there for 8 years, and he's perfectly well-behaved dog. I see the way he's
and
lying
before
out, chilling out in the studio. I think he likes the place. But
he does.
Deepak, you're a dog owner yourself. Thankfully, Deepak's dog isn't in the studio because he's quite a beast.
Yeah.
But what's your take on this whole policy? You think it was well thought through, the way the government has framed its notification?
What's been happening is since 2014, there have been a series of notifications, and
Right.
these are largely in response to incidents that have happened.
Yeah.
Now, if you look at the incidents that have happened, they show a certain pattern.
Right.
What you see is a lot of apartment owners primarily
Yes.
who've had certain dog breeds, which may or may not be prone to biting.
Yeah.
And in those confined spaces, there may be instances where a certain animal is not getting the mental stimulation it needs.
Right.
And there may be some factors, that may have contributed to certain incidents. Maybe,
Right.
somebody just came too close
Yes.
for comfort. Now, these incidents have kind of led to what some call a knee-jerk reaction on part of the authorities.
Right.
So if you've had a look at the circulars,
Yes.
they're very brief. The central circular, thankfully, still has more details.
Right.
But how the centre's policy is going to be implemented,
Right.
what are the measures that owners can take, how RWAs should respond, these are things that are still unclear.
But, so Lalit, on that note, do you see a change in the way the RWAs in your society, for instance, have been looking at Boris, after the notification came out? He looks
they
like
love
a
him.
perfect breed. That's right.
They love him.
Right.
Because they've seen him.
Yes.
When I take him for a stroll,
Yes.
half the time I don't, leash him.
Right.
Because the moment you leash them,
Yes.
they get that thing that, why am I leashed?
Right. Right. Yes.
I'm not harming anyone. I'm not barking at anyone. There are no incidences.
He's perfectly well behaved. And
He is perfectly well behaved because we have trained him like that.
Right.
We have not trained him to attack.
Absolutely. So that's a very important point, that training is so important.
Exactly.
It's like, just like with children, right? Upbringing is so important for the children. How what the child will turn out to is a result of how
Exactly.
the children are brought up. But I have Dr. Vivek Arora, who's a renowned veterinary doctor in South Delhi. Dr. Arora, welcome to the News9 Plus Show. I wish you could join us here in person, because we've got a very interesting gentleman here who's quietly lying on the floor listening to all of us speak. Boris, the Rottweiler, and his dog parent here, Lalit, with us, and my colleague Deepak Bhadana. But Dr. Arora, you've been looking at this issue for many, many years now. Do you think that the central government's notification was well thought through in terms of the way they've, gone about it? Ban the import, sale, breeding of ferocious dog breeds?
See, I may not be the right person to say how every stakeholder was engaged
Right.
in formulating such a policy. but I'm sure a lot of thought must have gone into the prior incidents that have occurred
Right.
and
right.
how they have come up to. But please also look into the fact that up till now, or we actually, when we talk about dog breeding, dog adopting, or pet keeping,
Yes.
it's still a very unorganized sector wherein
Right.
there is lies no norms or
Right.
rules
Right.
as to how a pet should be brought in, how a breed
Yes.
should be kept at home,
Right.
or what a breeder is, how a breeder is,
Right.
and how you should be maintaining your dog if you live in a society.
Right.
So that kind of social responsibility in terms of pet owners,
Yes.
social responsibility of dog breeders,
Right.
needs to be understood. I mean, we cannot justify an incident wherein your dog has taken a chunk out unprovoked from someone.
Absolutely. Yes.
Or let's say I am walking my dog and some other dog comes running into a
Right,
path
right.
and just rips my dog,
Yes.
or takes a chunk out.
Absolutely. So
I
a
mean,
very
nothing-
interesting
nothing
point there,
justifies it.
Dr. Arora, the fact that this might have happened as a result of the unregulated trade in dogs. And we've been discussing this issue here, Deepak, in News9 Plus on how the regulators looked the other way, and there was a massive explosion in the kind of these ferocious dog breeds. People bought it for reasons of status and prestige and all that. Of course, Boris here, quiet gentleman here, exception to the rule, but there are many housing societies, Lalit, where people have literally got these dogs as trophy animals, and they've kind of paraded them around. They haven't done what you have done, the good dog parent that you've perfectly integrated him into your family, and with your RWA, as you said, they love him. But will your dog be banned? That's a question that a lot of dog owners like Lalit are asking, especially after the circulars that the central government has brought out in the last couple of days. That's been followed by a lot of state governments which have followed suit to ban these ferocious dog breeds. Of course, that's still in the courts, but that's a story that we'll be monitoring very closely. But I'd like to thank Dr. Arora for joining us this evening, my colleague Deepak Bhadana, of course, Boris. And Lalit.
Streaming on News9 Plus. News is now content. Subscribe and get free vouchers.